Some months ago, I made a video about Hunter Avalone's shift away from the right, and in that same video, I chastised anyone within the online left for fully embracing Hunter with open arms and basically hopping on the Hunter Avalone redemption arc train, even though in the past he made some really problematic content that garnered the attention of hundreds of thousands, or in some cases millions of people, causing pretty much irreversible damage when it comes to perceptions of marginalized groups of people like, say, the LGBTQ plus community, because that community was at the receiving end of a lot of Hunter scrutiny back in his Chud days. But in the month since, Hunter has really proved himself. In the months since, he's removed a lot of his old reactionary content. He even made videos debunking his old reactionary content, and honestly, it's really nice to see. I never thought Hunter Avalone, of all people, would make such a radical shift in their views. Now, he's not a lefty. He doesn't claim to be a lefty either. He's a centrist, even though I really do think maybe deep down he is a little bit more on the left side. But I'm not here to make assumptions about him. But I'm just saying, at first, I was very skeptical of Hunter's shift in political views because, of course, the internet has no shortage of grifters here, but I think Hunter is honestly genuine, and I do apologize for trying to gatekeep and say, no, Hunter, you shouldn't be allowed within lefty circles, and shame on anyone who claims to be part of the left who is currently trying to rehabilitate you, like I'm some kind of arbiter of who is and isn't allowed within the online left. And I really shouldn't be talking when it comes to that sort of thing, because I used to be a huge fucking chud myself. I used to use the N-word all the time. I used to use the F-slur all the time. I used to be ableist as fuck and use words like the R-word in reference to someone who I thought were dumb. And also I would weaponize the word autistic and use it as a derogatory term against people who I thought were dumb. I was really bad, but look at me now. I consider myself much better than how I was back then. And I still continue to grow as the days go by, and the same seems to be going on with Hunter Avalone. He is shifting his views for the absolute better and is growing as a person, and people need to be allowed to be given chances when they show that they're genuine in their growth as people, and much of the online left seems to not really get that, because I've seen people on Twitter say, for example, this one person who got like 20,000 likes on this tweet or some insane number like that, say, if you were once a Nazi and now you're trying to be a lefty, fuck you, you're not accepted, I don't want anything to do with you. So if someone who was once a Nazi now realizes that their views are absolutely abhorrent and is now trying to better themselves and ascribe to better views, they're banished from lefty circles for being a former piece of shit. Now look, I want fuck all to do with Nazis. If someone is still currently a Nazi, they can fuck right off. I want absolutely nothing to do with them. But if someone used to ascribe to those abhorrent views and is showing that they are actually growing as a person and wants to be a better person and move away from those abhorrent views that they used to hold, I see no problem with associating with that person. You can possibly be a huge positive influence on their life. You can introduce them to more radical leftist positions and help them better understand why their previous views were absolutely disgusting and needs to be dismantled within this world. I'm so tired of the purity politics game, this holier-than-thou shit that seems to be ever so prevalent within the online left. You need to meet these certain set of standards in order to be a quote-unquote real leftist in my eyes, and of course that's a totally arbitrary and subjective thing that changes among person to person. So really, no one fits anyone's standards, and fuck trying to meet anyone's standards at all. But my biggest issue with this is definitely purity politics does not radicalize at all. If someone is trying to shift away from the right and wants to adopt more leftist positions and wants to be educated and be accepted within a social circle made up of lefty people, and then they're rejected from said social circle, who says that they're not gonna be like, fuck this, let me go back to the right, the left is obviously shit, and everything the right says about the left is 100% true, they're not tolerant at all, and they don't want anything to do with people who may ever so slightly skew away from their own set of politics. You're only proving the reactionaries right by doing this sort of shit. You're only emboldening reactionaries and having more people go over to the reactionary side. You don't see the right doing this shit nearly as much. They'll accept anyone and everyone, especially non-white people who ascribe to their bigoted viewpoints like Candace Owens or Jesse Lee Peterson. Amazing. Because they know they can tokenize these people and use them as scapegoats whenever they say, see, whenever I bring up black crime statistics and use that as justification to say black people are a problem. I'm not racist because these black people agree with me. It helps their side seem more legitimate. That's why they make careers out of anyone who quote-unquote left the left, like Dave Rubin or Carolyn Bor... Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her last name for the life of me. But you get my point. That's why there's so many grifters who make careers out of leaving the left and joining the right, even though in the first place they're probably center-left at best, but whatever, just a lot of right-wingers, anything to the left of them is communism. But anyways, we need to effectively counter this. We can't continue on with this purity politics bullshit because it only hurts our side and alienates people and pushes them away from wanting to join our side. I'm not saying to let it become a grift, but if someone shows that they genuinely want to change and they used to have horrible, horrible political views, but they do want to drop those political views and want to be educated on better political views, then embrace them, welcome them with open arms, and educate them. And also stop demonizing working class liberals. Yeah, I said it. They are not your enemy, and I'm sure many of them would be on board with you if given the proper education. And shitting on them does absolutely nothing to help your movement. They are your fellow proletariat. Dunk on the wealthy elite libs all you want. In that instance, I don't give a fuck, but I do believe that many of the working class libs can be of reach and can be radicalized when given the opportunity. Not all of them are a lost cause, and stop treating them like they are. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.